I like that we can explore an issue or a problem or something that's not clear in the course for two reasons. One is someone else may have the same issue, all right? And secondly, I can address it and make it clearer in the course. So I want, if it's something is not really clear, I want to be able to make it clearer for you.
Yes,
So,
ma'am. Thank you
so
so
there's
much, by
two,
the way.
yeah. So it's twofold to that, right? So, so if you don't mind, I'm going to go into a little bit of that right now. But if you still, I'm very happy to have a one-on-one meeting with anyone. I've already done so with several of you, and I'm happy to do it with more of you. You know, so that's not a problem at all. All right. I am on campus Tuesdays and Thursdays, and let's see, except for, so just so you know that I have office hours Tuesdays and Thursdays. Let me get my calendar up here for
And
this
the problem
is,
is, my classes are only Mondays and Wednesdays.
yeah, so I'm not there on campus Monday and Wednesdays. I'm only there Tuesdays and Thursdays, but I'm happy to have a one-on-one Zoom meeting with you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay,
That's
and
fine.
I feel that they're productive, and we can share our screens and so forth, and you know, we can get our point across. So those are the only days I'm on campus is Tuesdays and Thursdays. So let's just go from there. But first off, I want to talk about the when you do the Google certifications, it actually helps you to understand what you need to do for the assignment. So if you haven't completed this certification, I think once you've done that, and you may have already done it, it should lead you through the process of doing it. Now, for the Google Ads, you should be able to do a mock-up of the. Well, let me ask you something. Would you like me to pull up the assignment right now so I can just walk you through the whole thing?
Yes, ma'am. That would be
All right,
fine.
let me go ahead and do it. And it's the assignment, not the activity. Is that correct?
It says the one that was due Tuesday, which is the assignment, the
Uh,
Google Ads assignment.
the assignment. Okay, so let me go
Yes,
ahead
ma'am.
and pull that up right now. All right, so the Google Ads assignment right here. Okay, so can you see the assignment on the screen?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, perfect. All right, so here, I think you're probably pretty clear on the first part, right? We're just looking at what is the problem, you know, according to jobs theory. We've done this on several other assignments. And then here, what we're doing in this assignment is we're actually putting in the information. What is either the product name that you're using or the company name? It can be the company name too, whatever is best suited for you. So we'd put that information in here. Now I'm gonna pick on Matthew a little bit because he and I had a meeting. So we went over this, and when we look at the product name or the company name, he decided, oh yeah, I want to go with the company name because it made more sense for what he's doing. He's in a business where he is selling vintage clothing, right? And from an e-commerce site, right? So here it would be the name of the company would be much more appropriate in that particular business. And then what is it? So what is the value or benefit to the customer, not to the business, to the customer? So what is that value or benefit that this company or the product is providing to the customer? And in this case, it would be you know, reclaimed clothing, or it would be finding discount clothing, or just you know, appealing vintage clothing, that sort of thing. So it could be something, and it's accessible for them. It's easy to obtain what they're looking for instead of shopping at many different stores, right? So that sort of thing. But I'm kind of going off a little bit here, but you're getting the idea. And then Matthew would pick and choose what makes sense for him. And then
Mm.
for what? Who is the customer? This is a very specific type of customer. This is not a customer that wants to purchase retail and brand new. It's a very specific customer. It could even be a customer for a specific age range, or perhaps a Gen Z or whoever it may be. It's a specific type of customer that likes recycled, that's into recycling and that sort of thing. So very specific. And then what do they want? What is the pain reliever or the gain creator that this company or product provides to this customer? And that's what we're putting in here. So we're describing this. And this would be saving money on desirable clothing type of thing. So it depends on what the business is, of course, but that's the idea here. And this turns out to be your value proposition statement. This is a one sentence that is chock full of this information that you can just rattle off your tongue anywhere. So it's like a mini elevator pitch, right? It describes the business or the company. It provides the benefit for the customer, who the customer is, and then what the pain reliever or gain creator would be. So are there any questions on this from anybody?
No, ma'am, but I know that I've made many value propositions, so I just got to
Okay,
figure out which one I really want to use because it's
okay, good.
my
Yeah,
thing is I've always used the same company because I actually want to make the company. It's a beauty salon, but it's like a micro beauty salon because it's like I want to become a medical esthetician. So that's another
great.
like that's a rare career, I would say. Not many people do that
That's
nowadays. It's
wonderful.
more
I
of
love it.
lashes, hair, nails, and makeup. But I want to be different. I want to stand out. So that's like
That's
my type of
That is
yeah.
perfect. So you have a discriminating customer
Mhm.
that would be focused on your expertise, right? So that's
Yes, ma'am.
important for them,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So this value proposition is really written from the customer's perspective. So we always have to keep that in mind. But great, I'm glad you shared that. All right. So now when we get down to the evidence, you've created this value proposition statement. Now you're going to look on Google, right? Because this is all Google ads, and we're looking for ads that appeal to this customer base, right? So we're going to see, well, what are the ads that are available so this is like providing evidence that your customer exists because there are ads already out there for them, right? So and then you're just including a screenshot that goes across the page all the way, please, not just a little thumbnail, goes all the way across the page so I can see the screenshot of the Google ad. It is a Google ad, right? So uh, it would show at the beginning of typically at the beginning of a search in Google, right? So then we include that, and then when we go down to this section, we're just analyzing each of these ads and let us know what you found appealing, what you liked and what you didn't like about the ads, right? So you're including this information in here. All right. And then, so what did you like? What did you dislike? Including mention the keywords that you use to pull up the ad that tie into your value proposition statement here and the jobs to be done. And then after looking at those and critiquing those existing ads that are out there, you're going to create your own ads. And maybe you will have that, like, for your instance, you have a very specialized expertise area. So now your ads would look a little bit different because you have that level of expertise that perhaps the other companies don't have. And so you're going to do a mock-up. Now it can be I'm just going to show you real quickly, like if I go to Google and I just do a search on, I'm just going to do plumbers. So let's say I have a plumbing company. And so here I can see the sponsored ads. We have some ads up here. We have another ad here. It has a little thumbnail, and this has become very popular within the last year or so. So you can see plumbing nerds, and we can look up in Google Ads and find out how much they're paying for their ad very easily, right? So we can look up the keywords that they used, and it's just plumber. That's the only keyword I put in here was plumber. So they're obviously using plumbers, right? So with an S at the end, but it still comes up. And they use it twice in their ad. And then we decide if this is a competitor, then I would just take a screenshot of this whole section here of everything that they have. and then we critique that ad. All right. Now, when we do our own ads at the end in part 4, we're going to decide what do we want to have that's different, that is like here they have open 24 hours. Perhaps we might want to do something like, to emphasize that immediate response. We might want to maybe put other categories besides drain cleaning. Maybe we want to do whole house replumbing, or maybe we want to appeal to a different type of market because that's what we're working in. So we're going to make it different than what they have, but we can use their ad as an example, right? And then now you can do this very easily. Just do a thumbnail image of whatever you want to have in your ad, and then just write it up. You could do like dark purple, and you can just write the ad, type it up, and then you're done. Okay, so it's not. So, are there any questions on that?
And that was my problem. I was thinking we were supposed to go on like Google Ads and make our own little thing, but we're just basically like
Mocking it
making a
up,
mock-up,
making
like
a
a fake.
mock-up, so that I mean, there are some existing companies right now. There are students that have existing companies, and they're doing this. They're actually doing it real time. But not everyone, and not everyone has a company that's ready to go yet, and most do not. So, and then to pay for the ad, that's a whole nother thing. But and when you see sponsored up here, you know that is an ad. It used to be just, it would say ad. Now they have sponsored. And then there's some that are a little bit hidden. I don't see any under here. These are all organic placements here. There's really only one. Well, there are these on the local map, but that's different. These are organic placements. They're not paying for these placements in the business. Those are local, which is very interesting if you have a local business, of course. But here, we're just doing a mock-up. We're going to make it similar. And so we have an idea of what we're going to do. Now, this is important because it ties into the final project in this course. When you do your presentation, you want to have your mock-up. You want to have your favorite mock-up of the 3, and then you're going to wind up putting it in a slide deck that you're going to present to the class. And then so you have this ready to go. Some students will actually have it on their website and then link it to their website, and then they'll have it that they can show it at real time. But most of you do not. Okay, so, and that's fine. Let's do a mock-up, then you keep it for future reference. If you ever decide you wanted to do something, of course you'd want to do another Google search and see what's out there, but it gives you an idea of what you'd want to do in the future. So I hope that works. Are there any questions on this particular assignment?
For the potential cost per click, like what are some real numbers? Like what are some like reasonable numbers we should put? Like, because
Well,
I'm not really.
yeah, so that's a good question. So that you'll need to go into the Google Ads, Google Planner, and you would have to put in the keyword that you want to search for, and then so we had done that several weeks ago, and then you see what the range would be for that. So that
Thank
you
you.
would need to go into the Google Ads, like we did in the what module was that? Let me see. That was.
Because that was a little while ago. If you can
It
refresh
was a
my
while
memory.
ago, but all the instructions are still there for it. And I think it was this one. No. Oh, here, the SEO. It was the SEO module 4, and we did it under the keyword, the activity, as well as the key research assignment. So there's information in there. You log back on, you get the cost for the keywords, and then you have a range. And that's, Dallin, that was one thing we talked about earlier. This is something that you can do to find out what that company that's charging that excessive amount, what they're paying for the keywords, because you'll get that range for the keywords when you put it in there. All right, are we good with this?
Yes, ma'am. Thank
Okay,
you.
are there any questions from anyone else on this? And this is really just to help you and get you, like working in, the Google Keywords Planner and just getting a feel for it and knowing that this is available for you. Uh, and it's also good, like just for organic placement, because you see what others are paying. And then this was all based about organic placement, but it's still good to see what other companies are paying. Now, if I go back to the Google ads that I did for plumbers, right? So we can see that these are the local businesses for a local business. And then here we have Aztec Plumbing comes to the top of the organic search list, right? So they've also have a thumbnail in here. They're not paying for this. This is not an ad. This is an organic placement. Very interesting how they were able to include a thumbnail, and that gives them a bit of a competitive advantage. So something to consider. They also have their telephone number very early on, so you don't even have to select the ad. You can just go ahead and call them immediately. That is really brilliant, because if you click this, I'm not going to do it, but if I were to click it and this was an ad, they would be charged, right? So if this were an ad, this is a really smart idea to have the phone number early on, so that people just pick up their phone and call. Especially if I need a plumber, I need a plumber right away. Typically, if I have an emergency, I need someone coming right away. Then that's really a benefit. And oftentimes, though, when there are several ads in Google and someone is searching for something and needing the information right away, typically if they do now this is Geo Plumbing Nerds, right? The Plumbing Nerds. Okay, that's their company. If I scroll down, I might want to say, well, I see they're paying for the ad, but do they have organic placement? So I scroll down. Here's the Plumbing and Cooling Nerds. Okay, that play off their own name there. Oh, wait, no, this is the Plumbing Nerd. So this is the same company. So they do have, they're just different keyword, plumbing and cooling nerds for this keyword, right? And so that if anyone were to, I only put in plumbing, and this came up second on the organic placement, where this one came up here, Aztec Plumbing and Drains. Maybe because of the A, I don't know. Google changes their algorithms all the time. So not sure why it came up first, but it could just be the A. I don't know. And then we can go down. Usually at this point right now, most people don't even go down below here unless they're really looking for something with ratings, right? We can see local ratings here, but we might want to go down if it's like, what other ratings there may be. This has only 4 reviews. Here has 12,000 reviews. Well, this is Angie's list, so that's not an option. You're not dealing directly with the plumber, right? And then that's it. Now it goes into plumber salaries, the definition, Forbes, all sorts of other information here, until we get all the way down to Bob Hill Plumbing. And often people won't scroll down that far. They will have looked at the ad and they say, okay, what is the ad here? It's the Plumbing Nerds. Do they have organic placement? They do, although it may not be totally clear to you, but it is with the website. And then you may say, I'm just going to go with the Plumbing Nerds. And that's often what happens. But we don't necessarily want to just put an ad in immediately without having organic placement. So we want that organic placement first, and then we can toy around with ads later on. We can dabble in it and just, put a little bit of money in, see if it works, but we really want to build that organic placement. Okay, enough of that. I've gone on long enough about that. But it's just good to, explore it. And you want to explore your topic, of course. You want to see what all your competitors are doing, even if they're a remote competitor, like not really that closely in line. If they still come up with the keyword search, you still want to look at them and see what their placement is and what they're doing, and then how you can just have a little bit of a competitive edge. All right, so are there any, let me just stop sharing at this particular moment right now and see, are there any other concerns on any of the other assignments, activities, certifications, anything at all up to this point?
Not that I know of, but if I
Okay.
do, I would ask you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. All right, so then I'm going to go into the email marketing at this point, because now we're getting close to wrapping up this course. But I want to show you the email marketing for several reasons. One is I've had students tell me that they have existing businesses and they use email marketing, and it's very, very productive for them. Others have said it just doesn't make sense, doesn't work for their business. So it really depends on the business. So you want to look at it, see what's available to you, and see if it can work for you. If it doesn't, that's okay. It doesn't, but at least you've looked at it to see if it could possibly work. All right, so let me go ahead. I'm going to share the screen again. And then I'm going to go to the modules, and I'm going to close up this information here and go down to the email marketing. So I have the slide deck here, and then just your activity now is just to work on the assignment, and here's the assignment. I'm going to show you all that. And then if you want do the honors component, the honors is the shopping ads certification, which is really pretty interesting too, and ties in with these the email marketing ads. All right, so let me open this slide deck here. Get this to come up. A little slow. There we go. Things don't like to move along quickly when you're on Zoom. There we go. All right, so this is fairly brief. Okay. All right, so we're looking at email marketing, and remember, we're always focusing on the tunnel, right? So we're looking at the funnel and the sales funnel, and what areas are we focused on for email marketing? And it's really creating that interest and desire for the potential customer to take action, or it could even be an existing customer, and you want to bring them back to purchase more again. So here is some interesting facts and research done on email marketing, best organic option, right? So here, I know this is a lot of text, so I'm just going to go kind of like quickly through this. So most marketers use email as their primary method of generating leads, right? So, and you're looking at almost 90% of marketers, right? And this is as of 2022. There's 22% of those marketers report click-through rates over 20%. That's huge. That's typically better than a lot of organic placement or a lot of ad placement. So that's and usually for very little cost. And then so we look at this information, and few unsubscribe unless they're just because they've already given you their email address. They already have provided you with that information. You know that these customers are already interested in your product, but now you want to have them become more interested and desire it so that they make the purchase, or perhaps make an additional purchase. All right, here another statistic here: 86% of professionals prefer to use email when communicating for business purposes. Now, I don't know about you, but I would prefer not to get a text message from an organization that I work with or a business that I work with. I much prefer just send me an email. I get to it when I get to it. Don't message me through text. Send me the email, and then I'm happy to look at it at my leisure and then respond. So this has become a very lucrative way for businesses to generate business by email. Also reported is 60% of customers have made purchases from a direct result of an email marketing message. That is gigantic, 60%. You already have an interested audience, and then here now you're presenting them with something that they may have forgotten about or just put it in the back of their mind, and all of a sudden now it's at the forefront of their mind as they're going through their emails, and like, oh yes, I forgot about that. Let me take a look and then purchase. Now, maybe the other folks are not quite ready yet, but you want to send them an email at another point in time so that perhaps they are ready at that point. We also have to be careful not to bombard our customers with emails. So we have to find the right sweet spot to give them, make them, remember us, but not overpower them with emails, because then they will wind up, deleting your emails, or worse, unsubscribing, and then you have no chance to reach out to them. Now, one good way to help us, I mean, you could create your own emails and send them to your list, but a very affordable way to go is autoresponders. They will create your emails for you. They'll do all the automated work for you. You don't have to do anything. And they have it all set up for you. And it's usually at a very nominal cost. All right. So here, they design very professional looking emails. Here in this, they'll customize it, set up and to the individual person's name. They can send mass emails far more efficiently than you can. They can track the important statistics of those emails. They'll look at the open rate, they'll look at the click-through rate, uh, spam scores, reputation scores. That's important, because if you have a company like, I'm just going to mention Constant Contact, that's just one of them. There's many of them, and Constant Contact tends to be a little expensive, but they do have a good reputation. And that email will not go into a spam folder because they have that reputation. If it's an email coming from you directly, it could wind up in someone's spam folder. Okay, and then automated email actions. Let's just say, like, for instance, you can have a welcome email. Someone comes to your website for the first time, maybe joins or whatever the case may be, you provide them with a welcome email. They've made a purchase. The autoresponder sends an email to them with a receipt or with additional information, and it's all done very neatly and done professionally. Someone subscribes, they get an email because they subscribe, so they're aware. Yes, I've subscribed. This autoresponder is acknowledging for the company that that person has been subscribed, which I like, because if I subscribe for something, I want to know that you have my subscription and I'm ready to go. And then they have multi-day campaigns. They have maybe multi-day, week, month campaigns. I'm not a proponent for sending multi-day welcome messages or for any type of message, unless if they've made 2 different purchases in the same day. Of course, you would want to send the email responder message after each purchase so that it's acknowledged. But we want to be very careful not to bombard our potential customers or our existing customers with email messages. So we have to find that right spot. A lot of metrics. This is just showing one of the metrics available from the autoresponders and the type of information that's available. And that also helps us make good decisions. And we don't have to do the work. And we're paying maybe $25 a month for this type of work. There's work on the front end getting the email messages set up. But once it's done, it's automated and it's a very nice procedure. Here are a few of the companies that provide this service. Aweber, they're really only about $16, $17 a month. We have MailChimp is another one. And many of these companies, they are free up to a certain amount of email contacts, right? And then their prices would increase. But it's a great way to get started. Constant Contact is another one. It's a little bit more money, $35 a month. HubSpot is also a good choice. I know it is free. They do have a free point up to a certain amount of emails, but HubSpot has a lot of other really good resources available. So it may make sense for you to go into something like HubSpot, because once you're familiar with and you're kind of locked into them, you may wind up using their other services. And then you may say to yourself, well, geez, at this point, $45 is cheap money to be able to have live chats and all sorts of other information available for your customers, right? 24/7 live chat and so forth, right? So it can lend itself to other things as you move along. But all of them offer a free service to start with. So why not give it a try and see if it can be productive for you in your business? Like I said, the one issue is that if you start with one, it's difficult to move to another because you have the cost of transferring service from one to another. It can be done, but then you're going through that learning curve all over again with another company. So you decide whichever one works for you that you want to grow with, and then perhaps you just stay small and just have emails, and that's fine too. You have up to 500 here, 500 here. I believe HubSpot is the same, up to 500. All right, let's move on. And so we have some examples of some known commodities right here with uh, that the autoresponders have. They're professionally branded content. They have that customized content for who it's sent to. They can also have a very strong subject line to drive open emails, and they have a wealth of experience from doing this for so many years that. And with your certain type of business, they may pull from another industry, they may pull from your industry, they may pull from several different places to find out what really will drive emails, open emails. And then also the language that's in the email to have customers go ahead and already take the action and make the purchase from you, right? And sometimes they'll have multiple calls to action within one email. And I've seen that many times. They do really focus on the interest and desire, not so much awareness, a little bit, but usually you gain that email from someone who's interested in your product to begin with. Oh, oops, so what happened here? Okay, so now here's an example of an email that was sent out um, from Netflix, right? So here we have Netflix, we have a new documentary. Here's the subject line. It has the person's name who it's directed to. We just added documentaries you might like. Well, Jason happens to really like documentaries on Netflix, but here now they send out this email. Now look at this email. It's mainly all image, right? This is an actual email that's all image, very little text, and then call to action, and that they could try. So now here it is, all in one, the interest, desire, and the action, all in one email. Now here's some related stuff too, but it's very, very visual and light on text. So that's something I strongly encourage you to do. Most people do not want to read a lengthy email. They want more imagery and less text information. Just provide the nuts and bolts, really important aspects, and then go from there. All right, so we move on to, here's another one. The subject, unlock your wardrobe potential. Again, this is Jason. He likes this type of clothing. And here, again, a visual so that Jason can actually see the clothing line. Oh, wow, look, I can buy this whole wardrobe all at once. Wow, how convenient is that? I don't have time to go shopping. So here, and then very little text and a call to action. Schedule a fix, right? Boom, ready to go, right? The desire, but also action here too, because you could actually take that, schedule it, and make that purchase. Here, another one, from Zillow, somebody who happens to be looking at a specific area for purchase a house. And so Zillow gives an email that, again, a very large image, very little text. Please consider that as you are doing your email marketing. Another one example, lots of images, very little text. In fact, this says hardly any text at all, and just shows images. Here, I think this is the last one I have, Banana Republic. Again, imagery is key, and really all it has is, shop for women, shop for men. How nice is that for this company to do that, because they're appealing to both male and female here. So here, either one, Banana Republic, they can go, and it's up to 50% off, up to. That doesn't mean it's all 50%, but we see the big 50% there. And then we can good to go. So please, imagery, very important. So so now you're building your website, you want to change something of value, maybe you know, you have like 10% off or a free book or, you know, something to get people interested in signing up for your email service, right? Um, at purchase, you can sign up for the emails. Maybe you have an email newsletter. Maybe you have something available. Incidentally, this free ebook is kind of interesting. I just want to put a little emphasis on this because if you are the expert, it would be really wonderful for you to create some type of a free book or an ebook. And it only needs to be a couple of pages, but you could still call it a book, and you have provided information for free information that helps your customer somehow. Now I'm going to go back to Matthew now because he just popped in my head about, you know, the vintage clothing. Well, how cool would it be for Matthew to have an ebook on, you know, like different types of vintage clothing, categorize that vintage clothing, many different types of eras maybe that's available, and then go into maybe designers from that point of time, or just something like, wow, what a nice resource that would be for someone new interested in vintage clothing. So that might be something very powerful and it makes you seem like the expert. Well, you would be the expert, right? So there are ways that you can create an ebook or pamphlet type thing. I would call it a book, not a pamphlet, even though it's a few pages. But you could have like wonderful information there. And when you give away a little bit, people are willing to work with you. All right, so I just wanted to bring that up. Also, on social media, you can capture email signups as well. There are some offline methods you can get, but we're mainly staying in digital marketing. And so, but there are methods that you can get, uh, you know, you can get signups if you have a brick and mortar place. It makes it easy, that sort of thing. And certainly if you have a brick and mortar, almost everyone asks you for your cell phone number or email so that you are on their email list. They like the cell phone because they want to text you, but I don't like to give out my cell phone. All right. And then there are public paid lists. I discourage you from doing that because those are not people that that have interest in your company. They're just a whole bunch of people out there that, you know, may not have any interest whatsoever. There may be some that have interest, but to pay for that list can be very expensive, and it's problematic dealing with these people that have not originally signed up for you. I really strongly suggest growing organically and growing your email list organically for people that are really interested in your product or service. Now we have the Can-Spam Act of 23, which we have to be very careful about how we email people. And that another good reason to use an autoresponder because they're totally aware of all this information. I'm not going to go through it all, but you know, I would encourage you, you know, with autoresponders not charging anything up to 500 emails, it's a great way to get started and understanding what you can and cannot do. So how much does it cost to send out an email? Well, not that much, really. You know, it takes some time. So there's the soft costs of your time to set it up and get ready to go, but then let the autoresponders do it and then have it ready and set for you. All right. Are there any questions on this, the email marketing? Let me go before I say that. Just are there any questions on the slide deck to start with? And then I'll go into the assignment.
No, ma'am.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
All right. Anyone else? Any questions at all? All right. So let's go ahead and take a look at the assignment. And I think you'll like it. Okay, here we go. So here we go again. We're starting with the jobs theory. So we're looking at the problem. And then now we've already done this for the last assignment for the Google Ads, doing our value proposition statement here, right? But after thinking about this, you may have decided, I'm just going to tweak this a little bit, and that's fine. The idea is to, if it's the same, fine, keep it the same. If you want to tweak it a little bit, tweak it a little bit, because we want this is kind of like a work in progress. So if you need to make some minor changes, go ahead and do it here. Like perhaps the gain creator or the pain reliever has changed a little bit, or something along the line has changed a little bit, and you can make those changes. So we just want you to keep this in the forefront of your mind, that the value proposition is an important element to your business. All right, now, again, now you're going to look in your emails, maybe your spam email folder, but prior emails that you've received, and you're going, now they could be in the same industry, they could be in a totally different industry, but we want you to look at some emails here that you have had. So check, maybe your deleted folders or your spam folders for some, but go ahead and find 4 emails from companies that and provide that screenshot that you think are good, right? That you like. There's something about them that you find interesting and compelling. Now, maybe you've actually even go ahead and purchase something from them. That much more the better. But if you haven't, that's okay too, right? And then we want you to analyze those. We want you to look at specific things. So here's the first screenshot for part 2. And then now you're going to analyze it. So here we put in the screenshot number 1. What was the first part of this? What is this first I have here? What's the subject? No. What do you like or dislike about this? Right? What do you dislike or dislike? So your answer here is in red. And then you'll mention that. The next thing is the subject line. Is an effective subject line? Do you think that's compelling for me to open it? I opened it, or maybe you didn't open it. Maybe it's not a compelling. It doesn't really match. You decide. This is your opinion, so you're putting this information in here. Is the content effective for you to take action? Maybe you did take action, and you'll explain that. Yeah, it's effective. It's great. Or maybe you didn't take action, but you thought it was effective and just weren't interested at the moment. And then what part of the ATOM model does this represent, right? So is it interest, desire, or actual action? Or is it just an awareness ad? So, or email, that is. So you'll put that information in there for each of the 4 emails that were sent to you. Now, what you're going to do here is create your own email message. What I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and put it in your email and email it to yourself. So you're actually going to email this message. You're going to do 2 emails, and you're going to look at information that was in these 4 maybe competitors or just maybe good emails that you had received. And then you will create your own. You can use Canva or Unsplash, can help you. They're good tools to help you with some imagery because you want lots of imagery and very little text to get your point across. And then you're going to put this information in. What is the subject line? Where would the call to action represent to this buyer, and then or potential buyers? What part of the ATOM model does it work in? And then you'll have your emails that you have sent to yourself. All right, and then that's what I want to see. That email. Then just do the print from your email, and then do a screenshot of it. So I don't want it that you haven't sent it to yourself. I want it, send it to yourself so then you would see what it would look like if it were sent. And then just go ahead and print it. And then you can print it to PDF and then pop it in here. Or you could print it as an image and then pop it in the Word doc. Okay, so that's what I'm looking for. Are there any questions on this?
No, ma'am.
Okay, good. All right. So this has been very powerful for a lot of students, and many students have actually implemented this. You don't have to, of course, but I think you'll find it very helpful, especially when you're starting to get an email list and you're putting it together. It can be very powerful. I've had students tell me that what they've done with their email messages is include a coupon for a brick and mortar company. and people were just coming in like crazy with this coupon that they wanted to purchase from them. Now, if they didn't send out that email, they probably wouldn't have come into the business. And so it can be very powerful. All right. Are there any other questions? I just want to see if that I addressed everything in this module. I believe I did. Just go back real quickly here. Okay. Yeah, it's just the honors component here. And then for the YouTube channel, I'm going to have another session here in Zoom next Friday. I know we're only scheduled to meet every other Friday, but I like the idea of just having a session every Friday that you can pop in, and then I have the recording so that you can go ahead and see what you need to do here. In this module 12 for the following week, next week, we're going to be creating a YouTube channel. We're going to follow the instructions here for this information. I'm happy to go through this all with you next Friday for the following week's work. And then what we're going to do is for the assignment, you're going to submit your link to your YouTube channel with a thumbnail. Now I have all this information in here of how to go ahead and go about doing this and get you prepared to create your own YouTube channel and then create a video. You will create a video of your own, not someone else's. And then you're going to also create a thumbnail. Now, it doesn't have to be a lengthy video. It can only be a 1-minute video, but something to get you started on having a channel and then tying that into your website. You're actually going to include a video from your YouTube channel on your website. Could be just a mock-up website. That's fine. In Wix, it doesn't have to be real and live, but we want you to go ahead and get that going. And now for Dallin, is Dallin still with us? Okay, I'm going to mention anyway. So Dallin, could great to have a video showing the workers doing certain type of work. So he has a construction type work that he works with builders, but it would be wonderful to have a video on his website when you on that first landing page. It has a brief video, really 30 seconds. That's all you need. Just showing, even 15 seconds, just showing workers doing specific things that are very targeted to the audience, right? To those builders. It can be very powerful having a brief video. So something also to consider for many of you to include that. Some of you will just have a link to your YouTube channel, but having that actual video there that you can open up and show, and I'll give you an example of that next week when we get together. I just want to give you a heads up of what we're going to be working on. And then on module 13, we'll be growing our YouTube channel. And then we go into our presentations, tying in everything we've done so far into a presentation that you will be doing. And then we have our personal branding. The very last part of this is building and our YouTube, not our YouTube, excuse me, our LinkedIn profile. So we have a Canva resume that we can work on, and then we have a LinkedIn profile that we'll work on as well. All right. Oh, I see there's a, okay. So everybody seems to be fine with this so far. Are there any questions about this week's work? And then we can work on next week's YouTube on next Friday.
No, I don't have any questions. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Now, if something, even from the past, several modules ago, if there are any questions and you do need the one-on-one with me, I'm very happy to do so. Just let me know. And that goes to any of you, even those of you who are listening to the recording. Thank you so much and have a wonderful weekend.
Have a great weekend. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.